Hello there, Internet. Version 2 here with Let's Watch Danganronpa 3, The End of Hope's Peak High School, Episode 21, Future Arc number 11. We're fucking getting there. And I say that now because this session, I'll be finishing all this, because I'm going to be watching the last four in a row right now. When we last left off, it was Despair Arc, and, something happened there, and it was dragged out for as long as not humanely fucking possible, as long as humanly fucking possible. Nothing goddamn humane about it. Just to really work you over. And somehow that one was actually more upsetting than Kyoko. Even though I expected both of them from the start of this. Again, I think it's the idea that because Kyoko died with hope and she had accepted it, that it was a lot easier. Whereas Chiaki was just literally tortured to death. So, there's all that. But the main thing that's going to happen today is I'm going to be super validated on my theory. I mean, admittedly, I worked it out at pretty much the last effective possible second beforehand. Like, when I worked it out, there was no new information from when I worked it out to when they're going to say it, as to what's happening, with one of the details at least. So, I worked it out at, like, literally the last moment possible. So I'm gonna be super vindicated in how right that's gonna be, because I'm fucking right. It doesn't make sense for me to not be right. And now that we know that but the main thing that I'm gonna have the question about is, if I'm right, which I totally am, because it's the only thing that makes sense, where the fuck does this go from here? Like, how do they win? Because the win condition is they wake up from a time limit and no one dies. How the fuck do they do that now? So let's find out together how the fuck they do it. As usual, there is a link down in the description to a link to this episode on Crunchyroll. And we shall go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And then we click go, and then we watch it. So let's just do that right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. It probably doesn't help that my intro of explaining the countdown and then the countdown itself are at different speeds. Even between episodes, like sometimes I'll do that countdown to the episode fast because I just need to start watching it. And sometimes I'm slow about it because I know that I'm doing it. Also, hey, ending of Danganronpa 1. We never actually saw what they saw out there. I mean, it's the despair world, but... Oh, people explained in comments, when we saw all those guns and everything, and people were, like, trying to shoot somewhere, that was them trying to get inside the school. We did hear gunshots from there in Danganronpa 1, so yeah. Okay, so most of the people who are part of this are here already. It was her after all. Well, you're Despair. I'm assuming you're still Despair at this point, so... yeah. But Sakakura... Show Sakakura... There it is! No, sorry. That's still Chaser. Show Sakakura, because Sakakura willingly lied about it, and kind of is responsible for a lot of this, in some capacity. Yeah, there it is! Yep. Hi, Sakakura. How do you feel knowing that a bunch of people, even more people, died because of you? We never actually got to see that. We just saw them, like, in Future Foundation later on. So, hey. All good things. No intro. Unless the intro's kind of, like, irrelevant at this stage. This is Kyoko's notebook, and she's really fucking good at this. So, I'm only able to work it out because Danganronpa follows its themes to a T sometimes. And knife wounds. And place the victim could have reached. So the main thing that I have about it being suicide is how the ridiculous positions they were in. Like, how did Psycho pin herself to a wall and make a dent in the wall? How did Gozu tie himself up to the ceiling? Was the monitors? Oh yeah, I wonder why Mitara might be freaking out about that. I did notice the monitor freaking out with Raruka. The question is, again, the question is, like, how did Gozu tie himself up? Or did he, like, tie himself up and then stab himself? But I thought his arms were tied out too. Unless them being, like, put into, like, pinned to a wall and everything is just purely for anime reasons, so it's harder to work out. Wow, you guys wasted a lot of time for between this time limit. Kyoko's so fucking smart. Like, she's so fucking smart. Again, I'm able to work it out because thematically, and also I know all the information that every character knows. Kirikiri only knows what she knows. And she was able to work it out. With fingerprints and shit. I feel like you need more than just rope. Again, if people were able to pin themselves to fucking walls and tie themselves up, then I don't know if a bit of rope is gonna do it. I mean, if Minakata was ultimate rope tire, or ultimate dominatrix or something, then maybe you won't be able to break out of it, but... Also, is it only these 4 left? It is, isn't it? Holy shit. And the last, like, couple episodes really thinned out the herd, didn't it? Jesus. Those ropes better be enough. Again, Psycho pinned herself to a wall somehow. So is it just whoever's near a monitor selected? So why was Gozu targeted, unlike Hina or Makoto in the other one? Ah, whoever's closest. Yeah, it's not even reacting to you. Gloomy Sunday. Oh, Monokuma Theater. Really fucked up music of Monokuma Theater. Was it just that? It wasn't showing, like, Because all the other brainwashing footage is showing people dying a bunch. Specifically that first mutual killing. Then the first execution. That was just Monokuma shaking his head back and forth. Oh, shit! Not who I was expecting to show up in this. Oh, fuck! So it restricts your brain into psychologically torturing yourself. Like, this is very similar to the nightmare that Makoto had before already. All of his dead classmates. Why Celeste? Celeste was a killer. So was Leon. And Josuke. Shouldn't feel bad about Celeste dying. I mean, come on. Oh, jeez. Blood color in this series is so inconsistent. Oh, your face is all bashed in? You were not killed by fire. Your butter and your hang. Jesus. You were not killed by fire, Celeste. You were killed by a fire truck. The fire wasn't what killed you. Come on. That's cheating. You wanted to be killed by the fire because it was awesome. Oh, and it just throws it out to you. Oh, jeez. The ropes were totally not enough. So now what the fuck's the plan? What? Who? What the fuck? How are you alive? What the fuck? How are you alive? How everything? How the fuck are you alive? How the hell are you awake? What the fuck? What the fuck? How? What the shit? What the shit, Sakakura? What the fuck? How? To everything. Oh, he cut off his bangle by cutting off his hands. Holy fuck. You're also stabbed through the stomach. How the hell are you still walking? You're stabbed through the stomach with a fucking Revengeance blade and your hand's missing. It was all suicide. More brainwashing. Significantly more brainwashing in this series than I expected it to be. I mean, the whole tying themselves up still doesn't make sense. Like, they're all in completely unreasonable positions. They're actually gonna show it? Well, okay, they're not. Because he was tied up and then. So Makoto didn't do any of this. Oh, you just literally bashed yourself against a wall. Okay. Makoto didn't do any of this, though. Like, he wasn't preparing to do any of that. Yeah, so now the question is, who the hell set this up? That'd be awfully convenient. Pretty much. Finding out that truth isn't much better, is it? I mean, it's a bit better, but... Damn! You angry. How are you still walking? Or alive? Well, that's one fucking plan, I guess. A shitload. Why not? Why? You didn't forgive him for coming out of the school alive. Oh, and you wanted to. That is a ridiculous, absurd, stupid reason for wanting to kill someone. You kind of let her. Because of the homo. You were worried about that. He threw you away because he was manipulated or lied to into thinking that everyone was despair. I guess in his mind, because he let Junko get away with it, he kind of was. Like, he's probably just thinking it's like, no, I totally betrayed Munakata, so I deserve it. Even if it's for a different reason than he thinks. He would have too if it wasn't for Sakakura. Hey, how you feeling, buddy? How you feeling? So what you said before about the mastermind was the one who was going to come after you was totally right. But why would he do this? Why would he do this? He knew it, so he's definitely in part of it, yeah. He knew that, so yeah. That's the part that I don't understand. I mean, you just gotta watch one video and then you're one of them, so I mean... Video that you made, by the way, so you should know. Yeah, she wasn't really careful about hiding it all. She just kind of manipulated everyone. She just kind of manipulated everyone. Yeah, the two people closest to you betrayed you. Yeah, how you feeling, buddy? I mean, you're partially responsible for the cause of, like, the entire world's being like this. And now the killing game that you're a part of is also directed because of you. Where are you headed to? Yeah, yeah. What are you doing? Wait, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening? What the fuck was that? That was in the secret exit, wasn't it? He went into the secret... The only other person who's still alive in here. The break room was in the secret exit room? So now that you know it's the monitors, you're turning off power everywhere. Who stabbed him, yes. You're both terrible friends. Just fucking make it up to each other before he dies. Yeah! Dramatic music. Minakata and Sakakura totally deserve each other, by the way. Like, they're both the same type of fucked up. They totally should be a couple. Way more than fucking Cheezer. Cheezer's actually a decent fucking person. Wait, what the? Wait, that just undid the bangles? Were they powered by the electricity too? Also, they're doing the anime thing of the music from the intro is playing at the end. Or is this the ending music? Actually, this might already be the ending music. That's normally played during the credits. I'm not even sure. And I think it is. You got any life left in him? No. Oh shit, we're still going. I really figured that'd be the very end of it. Is this from when the building collapsed? Everyone outside got fucked up? So now what are you gonna do? You're still underwater. Do you know? Does Makoto know that he's... Yeah, he does. Stop lying. Huh? Wait, what the fuck? What the fuck? Wow, they've actually managed to lead this off with, like, way more questions that we're gonna have to ask because what the hell's happening now? Wow, okay. Okay. So, like, I'll give, like, the writers a lot of credit in the arc of Munakata, Chisa, and Sakakura. Like, as much as Sakakura and Munakata piss me off as characters, because they're assholes, it's a very satisfying arc that you get to see all three of them go through. And, like even though you only see them in this, and they've never even been hinted at existing before, but what you see of them... I mean, in some way, they're kind of the main characters of the entire show, because they're the only ones that have as much prevalence as they do in both Future and Despair. So in some ways, they are the main characters, so they get a lot of focus to build on that, that relationship that those three have, which makes sense, because, again, like, you don't want to focus as much on Makoto's friendship with people, or even the Danganronpa 2 cast friendship with each other, outside of Chiaki, because Chiaki's not been there before, and Hajime is, again... He knows he's reserve course now, where in the other one he was just like, what's my ability? And everything like that. So you explore them because you don't know anywhere near as much about those two because of the situations that they find themselves in Danganronpa 2, where the rest of the characters are kind of the same. So I understand, like, definitely focusing on the Chisa, Sakakura, and Minakata friendship between all three of them. It's a really good arc and build-up that those three have, in terms of showing how much they care for each other, how much they're willing to sacrifice for each other, their goals and ideals towards hope, and how some of them are kind of different to each other. Like, Cheese is willing to sacrifice fucking anything for Munakata, but the way that she goes about hope is very different to Munakata. And whereas Sakakura, he wasn't willing to give up everything for Munakata. He wasn't willing to let Munakata know that he had a massive boner for him. But the way that he strived to obtain hope was the same way that Munakata did. And like more than anything, the arc that those three have between Despair arc and Future arc, like, shows how the way that some people try to achieve hope is tinged with despair, and like what effects despair can have on people who think they haven't given into it but are letting it affect them to some capacity. Like when Munakata turns around and kills Sakakura because he thinks he's a remnant, he's doing that in what he thinks is the name of hope, but he's doing it for despair. He's filled with despair and he's doing it because of that. He isn't... Because basically, if you're going by Makoto, the key difference between hope and despair is optimism versus giving up. And if there's one thing that Munakata isn't good at, it's optimism. And in fact, in most situations, Munakata's response is giving up. It's just that his giving up manifests in giving up on other people, giving up on other methods, only doing what he thinks is right, and everything else needs to just be abandoned even if it's other people. He kills Sakakura because he gave up on Sakakura because he thought he was a remnant of despair. He didn't give up on Chisa at any earlier point, but, like, before Chisa died. But afterwards, when he stabs Chisa, thinking she's a remnant, and it's like, fuck you. Well, I mean, she was. She literally was. At this point now, I don't know if he has any idea what the fuck she was. But when he stabs her through that, even though she's already dead, he is still giving up on her. Just being like, you fucked me over. Bam. Where Makoto's the exact opposite. He has hope and belief in everyone. And that's why Makoto's hope works. Because his hope is hope by using hope. By using that optimism. It's why he did everything with Danganronpa 2 to get those back. And why Munakata was so against the idea and wanted to punish him at the beginning. Because, no, they're remnants. Give up on them. Abandon them. They're not what... You can't save them. And Makoto's the exact opposite of, no, I still can. I mean, that's exactly Makoto's thought process into, like, helping Munakata not try and kill everyone. Is that he doesn't give up on him. So it's a really good, like, that friendship between Munakata and everyone else. While I find Munakata and Sakakura so frustrating as characters, and Cheese is amazing, it's a really good way of showing that conflict that hope and despair can have in people, and how it manifests itself in ways that just fuels more into the despair thing. Because we haven't seen much of that from people who weren't directly involved in a killing game. It's part of that more of showing how did the tragedy affect the world, / how did it affect individual people. Which is not something we saw from the first 2 games. And we got glimpses of in Ultra Despair Girls, mainly with the adults. The kids, I don't think that, like, the kids outside of Monica, it doesn't really apply to any of, like, that world building, because they were Junko's minions the entire time. But, like, with Haiji and the other adults, it's showing that exactly. And again, for them, it's very similar. They think they're fighting in the name of hope, but what they're doing is giving up on the children and wanting to kill just so many kindergartners. And that's them giving up and giving into despair. And we get a really good showing of what that is like for even the people who are meant to be the top of the fucking Future Foundation. Here. Even if watching Munakata all the time, it's just like, you can tell so early on that it's just like, oh yeah, what you're doing is not gonna fucking work. Because that is not what works in this world. I mean, again, like, you can't compare, like, never fighting anyone and always believing that every single person ever can be saved. That lesson does not translate into our real world. In fact, it's sometimes dangerous to. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes, like, you can save people who feel like they can't be saved in the real world. Or, like, stop them from doing the awful things that they do or the awful things that they believe. And you can, even though it may seem like you can't. In other cases, you just can't. And the people who don't want you to fix the awfulness in the world will prey on that and go, well, we're gonna make you think that I can be saved. So try and do it. Meanwhile, you're just, like, they're literally just trying to waste your time. Like, the messages, like, the themes and ideas and what works and what doesn't work in Danganronpa do not translate to the real world. But it's fairly well established that Danganronpa is not the real world. Like, the concepts of hope and despair manifest themselves in very, very particular ways in Danganronpa that is not translatable to the real world. I mean, it has similarities, but it isn't a direct comparison. So I'm not saying, I am not advocating peace and love all of the time, 24/7. It's the only thing that works. Because that is not true. But not giving up is what works in the Danganronpa world. And hey, it's good to see people who don't understand that then come around to understand that. On the next episode, though, we're going to Despair Arc, the final episode of the Despair Arc. So that's going to be fun. It won't at all be horrible to see all these people that we've seen before just, like, be their horrible people that they were the entire time. It's really going to be the first and only glimpse that we have of the remnants of despair being remnants of despair. Although I guess we got a couple glimpses of it in the future arc of watching them fight them. A little. So, until then, this is version 2, signing out.